Back at the shop today on Sunday, and I'm doing mahogany trim today. So lots of mahogany work. I got these beautiful sideboards I'm trying to get done that are in crotch mahogany, and I'm on to a walnut and also a crotch mahogany credenza that are going to be beautiful. So a lot of that content hopefully will be coming up this week. Today, I wanted to talk about this whole war thing, right? The thing is war and small business. What's a small business to do, right? Talking about war, talking about going over fighting, in the Middle East, right? And we've all heard this stuff before, and I thought it'd be kind of an interesting conversation. What's a small business owner think? And again, this isn't a political conversation. We're not really talking politics. We are going to talk a lot about spending and incentives. And that's really what I think is the important issue in this whole situation. But as small business owners, what can we do? Like, how does this affect us? What's going to happen if, scenario A happens, scenario B happens, scenario C? And it's not a super pleasant conversation to have, but in the event that something does shake off, it's a good conversation to talk about. And we like to talk here. This is what I do. I try and talk once a day about something that's related to small business. And in the event that we have to go back to the Middle East, what are we going to do about it? So first thing I'll say is my name is Eric Wilkin. I'm the Splendid Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. And we have a small furniture company here. We do about 500 pieces a year. Small seven-figure business. And it's good middle-class living. And we've got 7 or 8 employees at this point. And it's a great way to make a living. Ton of work, but it's worth it. And we want to preserve it. And that's why we're going to talk about this whole small business and potential of war thing. Because truth is that we just want to run our companies here. That's really all we want to do. We don't want to think about other places in the world. We just want to focus on our company and our customers and our employees. And that's really all we want to focus on. So where am I coming from in this conversation? Okay, the truth is that I signed up for the military right after 9/11. I was one of those people. I was gun-ho. I'm like, let's go. Let's get these motherfuckers and let's go. Like, America, fuck yeah, like the whole thing. I'm a big advocate of the pecking order is kind of what I like to call it. And basically what that means is that you can go bully someone, you can be a nuisance to people, but eventually somebody is going to come and they're going to knock your dick in the dirt. And it's happened to everybody. And it's very important that this happens in the world. And unfortunately, we don't have enough of that going on. We haven't had enough of that going on for a long time. Because what America likes to do is we like to go over and basically just hang out. Like, we're not going to fuck people up. We're not going to go and exert our might. We're not going to do any of that stuff. We just want to basically nation build and do all these kind of things that small business doesn't care about. It doesn't help small business. It doesn't help you start a business. It doesn't help you provide for your family. It helps a very select group of people. And this isn't a discussion about the military. Like I said, I signed up for the military September of 2001. I was ready to go to war. I was going to be a light wheel mechanic, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go kill terrorists, and it was very important to me. And I had bought into the America, fuck yeah thing. And today I still have a strong version of that. But as I get older, I can start to kind of see what's going on. And so I have some stats for you guys. I have some data that I want to give you guys. And let's talk about this from a business standpoint, right? What are we going to do as business owners? Can we do anything as business owners? And how does this affect our businesses? Because the truth is that a business owner, you can't really be political. You can't be left, you can't be right, because you risk alienating your customers, right? Michael Jordan said it best, right? Republicans buy sneakers. When he wouldn't, opine on a particular political race in the state of North Carolina. And he's 100% right. So it's very tricky as a business owner to talk about politics or to give your personal opinions on things, but we're going to delve into it just a little bit. But this isn't a political discussion, okay? So we'll start here with some stats. I'm going to give you guys some cool numbers. And again, hit the like button, add to the discussion. And, this is a passionate topic for a lot of people. Me, again, I really wanted to go to the military. I was off, but I couldn't. I had a bad knee, and they rejected me, right? Like, I was literally heading to MEPS. I was done, and I was going to go do, like I said, I was going to be a light wheel mechanic, and I was ready to go, and it just didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be. But that's okay. Life goes on. See, we got NFL all day in here. Hi, today's my birthday. NFL Day. Happy birthday. Good to hear it. How old are you? Let us know. All right. So stats, guys. We'll give you some quick numbers, and then we'll start this discussion. Okay. So the real issue is spending. It's all about money. Everything is about money. I didn't graduate high school, but the only thing I really remember from high school is I had a professor. He basically said, just follow the money and you can figure out anything. And it's 100% true. Okay. So your federal government, the American federal government, took in about $5 trillion in taxes last year. With a T, trillion, okay? They spent almost $7 trillion, okay? So they love to spend money. They bring in a ton of money, and there's not a lot of fiscal restraint, right? So why would they do that? What compels people to just spend beyond their means, right? You and I can't do that. If we do that, we go into debt. We got to pay interest on that debt. And if you do it too long, you go out of business, right? But because the federal government can print money, they don't go out of business. So they can continuously make poor decisions, and there's not a lot of repercussions. In fact, you'll probably get reelected. You can run for a higher office, and you can actually get more money put into your campaign, and you can basically spew more bullshit, right? Which is politics, right? It is what it is. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it, but it is what it is. What's this? $45 million military. Yeah, that's got nothing to do with anything. Parades are normal. Everyone does parades, and whatever the parade is. Like I said, we spend $45 million a day on anything. You pick your poison. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we're going to talk about all the countries that America deals with, okay? So America's big thing when it comes to war, for the most part, is we're always promoting democracy, and we're always talking about, how we have to spread democracy and protect democracy, right? We hear that a lot, okay? So I wrote down all the main countries that we deal with as America, and we're going to talk about what kind of institution runs these particular countries, because it's very important. Again, we are a democracy here in America. We support democracies. We want to put more democracies into the world, and we're always protecting democracy, okay? And this is as someone, like I said, who really wanted to go into the military and really supports America and has an America company, this really bothers me, okay? So let's talk about all these countries. Trump 2028. Yeah, Trump's not running in 2020. Sorry, it's not going to happen. There's no third term for that guy. Anyway, let's talk about these countries. Okay, so as furniture makers and people that are in the furniture game, basically the number one producer of furniture, at least of the medium to higher grade furniture, is the country of Vietnam. All right, so this is where companies like Restoration Hardware get their furniture made. Pottery Barn gets their furniture made. So Williams-Sonoma, Crate & Barrel, all of your major furniture manufacturers use the country of Vietnam. So is Vietnam a democracy? Is Vietnam a democracy? The answer is no. No. Vietnam is actually a socialist, communist country. Okay, so all the American-made furniture companies, they're getting all their shit made in other countries, right? So as citizens that buy things in America, how do you feel about that, right? And the truth is that nobody cares, right? And we all talk a lot of shit. Like everyone talks, I'm all about buying American, yet everything you buy is made in another country because you don't have any money, or you just choose to spend your money on other things, which is fine. You do what you want to do. It's not a big deal, okay? The next country, everyone knows about China, right? So is China a democracy? Pretty much the number one country we deal with to make everything for America. It's the largest trading partner. They make more shit than we do, okay? They are a socialist communist country, just like Vietnam, okay? So what are we doing with this country? Apparently, China is a horrible country, and we're always talking about going to war with them, and we're building up militaries, yet we do more trade with them than anybody, right? So what's really going on there? Are they really our enemy? Are they really the bad guy? Or is this just a country that we like to propagandize as being terrible and horrible, and it's basically a boogeyman to promote whatever our government wants to promote, right? Like, that's kind of what I think is going on there. I don't think that people think China's really that bad. They're just cheap labor, and that's really all it boils down to. Same thing with Vietnam. American businesses can't make stuff here in America or don't want to make stuff here, so they just send it over to these communist and socialist countries where they make $5 a day, $10 a day, and they make all your shit, so that's a cool one. Okay, next we're going to talk, hey guys, I'll get to the comments in just a second. Let me run through a couple more of these countries, because these countries are all our biggest trading partners, and again, we promote democracy, and we're all about democracy, and we're all about freedom, right? There's no freedom in Vietnam. There's no freedom in China. And our next country, Saudi Arabia, right? It's where all the oil comes from. Even though America is actually a larger producer of oil than Saudi Arabia, we can't do it as cheaply as they can because, again, Little known fact about Saudi Arabia, the people that pump all the oil aren't in fact Saudis. They're just the ones collecting the money. That's a whole other discussion. Okay, so is Saudi Arabia democracy? Well, no. They're an absolute monarchy. So again, where we get all the oil from? Not a democracy, right? These people, we trade really well with them as long as we're protecting them and as long as they can keep pumping their oil and doing whatever it is they want to do. They do not share our values in many cases, which again, honestly is fine by me. You don't want to share my values? I don't give a shit. Like, it's not a big deal to me. I worry about me and mine. I don't care what you do. You do your thing, and if I don't want to deal with you, I won't deal with you. But anyway, point is that Saudi Arabia, massive trading partner, not a democracy at all. Not even close. Not even close. They're a monarchy. They'll cut your throat if you piss them off, right? They can do that. It's okay. So we got that one, right? Now, let's talk about Israel. Israel's the important one over here, right? Israel is, in fact, a democracy, right? So how big is a trading partner of Israel? Like, what do we, again, all of our business is done in Vietnam, our business is done in China, and our business is done in Saudi Arabia. How much of our business is done in Israel? Almost none. Zero. So there's almost no incentive to actually defend this place, except that it's a democracy, which is noble. I think it's great. It's a democracy. Go defend them, okay? But all your biggest trading partners are the antithesis of what you claim to be all about. So it's very hypocritical here, okay? So we got that going, all right? Let's talk about the next country, Afghanistan, okay? So do we even know what Afghanistan is? I mean, we were there for 20 years, so we must know something about Afghanistan. The truth is, nobody knows jack shit about Afghanistan, okay? So Afghanistan is authoritarian, right? So again, we went over there, we were going to spread democracy. They're going to greet us as liberators. You guys remember that? I bought into this bullshit. Like, as someone that was going to go fight the terrorist and kill, go work on Humvees, you know, because I love the idea of just exercising and shooting guns and fixing Humvees. That's what I wanted to do. It sounded amazing. That country is authoritarian. What we did over there meant nothing. Did nothing, did no good. It's just as fucked up as it was the day we showed up, right? So, last country I'm talking about, then I'm going to go through comments. Last country is Iraq, right? We all know about Iraq, okay? So we went over to Iraq. What is Iraq? Okay, so Iraq technically is a democracy, right? But it's also number 157 of 180 countries on corruption. So basically, it's a faux democracy country. It's all completely corrupted, and it, again, is probably worse than when we got there, right? And you say what you want about Saddam Hussein, terrible guy, but it's not any better. And again, trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, thousands and thousands and thousands of white people, of American people just killed, like for whatever reason, okay? So all this blood and treasure was sent over there, and why? We didn't create a democracy. They didn't greet us as liberators. None of this happened, okay? So talked about all these countries. There's no country on this list that is a democracy like America. And again, America doesn't deal with countries that are democracies because they're too expensive, right? We want the poor countries, we want the countries with problems, we want the authoritarian countries that oppress their people so that we can get cheap stuff, all right? Now, as a small business owner, this drives me crazy, right? As a small business owner who actually makes all this shit right here in St. Louis, Missouri, all my plywoods come from Roseburg, Oregon, my hardwoods come from Indiana, my machines actually come from Taiwan because they're used Grizzly machines for the most part. We make everything in America. All of our people are Americans. They get American wages. We pay American taxes. We pay American benefits. We pay American rent, American insurance. As an American small business owner, it fucking drives me crazy that we have all these companies, mostly big businesses, selling out their country for cheap labor, okay? And I talked about it before. Companies like Restoration Hardware and Williams-Sonoma, okay? When the Trump administration announced those tariffs on China and Vietnam, the Vietnam tariff was 46%. 46%. That is nothing. The stock for Restoration Hardware was cut in half. Williams-Sonoma, cut in half. Because the only value those companies really provide is being able to take the labor from another country, bring that cheap shit over here. Well, it's actually very good quality, but it's made with cheap labor, and then put the profit into their shareholders' pockets, not their employees' pockets, because they don't pay their employees real wages. They pay real wages in Vietnam and China. They put it in their shareholders' pockets, big frickin' dollars, right? And this is the real value of a lot of these companies. And as a small business owner, this shit pisses me off to no end. It's disgusting. And I like big business. I'm a capitalist. I've got no problems. You want to make $1 trillion a year? Fine. But do it by helping out the people that are in your community. And a lot of these companies don't do that. And it's time to stop. It needs to stop. And if all we're going to do is spread democracy by dealing with authoritarian, communist, and socialist countries, we're all hypocrites. We're all lying to each other, and we need to do better. And I say that again. I signed up for the military. The military rejected me because I had a bum knee. I started a small business in America that pays American wages, American taxes, American products, and I sell to American people. Okay, so I'm not talking about this like I just outsource all my shit and then bring it back here and, ball out of control in my Lambo. Okay, it doesn't work that way. We're a real company here. That's why I do these videos talking about a real American company and what it's like and how difficult it is. Okay, so that's where I'm coming from. That's the stuff I'm going to start off with, and I'm going to go through comments real quick, and we'll go ahead and start this discussion. Because, again, as a small business owner in America that makes American products, using American labor, paying American taxes, it's offensive to me at the prospect of going over to another country to start a war because supposedly this country's a threat to somebody in the region who we don't actually give a fuck about, right? We don't do business with these people over here. Yet we're going to spend trillions of dollars supporting them and supposedly putting all these democracies in place because we care about democracy when all the businesses that we are supposedly support here in America don't fucking use the people that live here. They use the people in other countries because it's cheap, because they want to be able to give money back to the people that don't even fucking work at the company, okay? This is the thing that drives me insane. Like, I don't care about other countries. I just don't. It's one thing if we got all of our things going on here and everything's correct here and America's a great place to be. It's a whole other thing when everything's fucked up here. We got all kinds of trash in our cities. Our cities are blighted. Everything is just gray and not super pretty. And then we send all of our treasure and our printed money over to other places. This really bothers me as a small business owner and an American. Okay, so all right, we'll go through comments and we'll continue this because I've gone way over what I was going to rant about. Okay, so NFL Day here. You said it was your birthday. All right, comment to that one. Happy birthday. We got someone talking about parades. I don't care about parades. When did a U.S. president do a military parade? Okay, so truth is that prior to 1980, we did all kinds of military parades. It was actually not uncommon to do military parades. You'll know this if you listen to a show called The Daily, which is a podcast for the New York Times. Okay, and this is the problem with dealing with someone who constantly listens to news and constantly listens to history books and all kinds of things like that. So yes, the military parade thing has been going on for a couple of decades, but it's not uncommon. It's just uncommon in recent history. So it's very important to understand that. I don't agree with military parades. I don't really care about dick measuring. It's not a big deal to me. You do what you want to do. And if a president wants to have a military parade, personally, I don't give a shit, right? Just stop stealing my money and stop sending my fellow Americans over to places that nobody gives a fuck about, okay? That's what I care about. You want to spend $45 million on a parade? I don't care. I don't give a shit. Like, stop taking $500,000 a year in taxes from me and giving it to a bunch of shitheads over here that don't want to add to America, that don't want to contribute to society. Stop doing that. Stop giving it to people that aren't helping our country, okay? We need to stop that. You want to do a military parade? Great. Celebrate our country. Actually celebrate it and how great it is. Stop trying to tell me that I have to pay more money and I'm a piece of shit because I have higher expectations for my fellow citizens. Okay? I don't care about $45 million in freaking money for a parade. It's meaningless, guys. It's meaningless. We print $2 trillion a year. Okay? Every dollar you get is wasted. Every dollar you get is devalued every second of your life when we do that. Okay, so I don't give a fuck about a military parade, all right? So, okay, when did U.S. President, okay, we got through you. Tom G, you're in here. Good to see you. Trump 2028, yeah, we'll see. I don't think that guy can run for another term, and honestly, no one's supposed to run for a third term. I think FDR was the only person that was able to do that, I believe, but I could be wrong. I'm not, like I said, I've never even graduated high school. What the hell do I know? Okay, how much do you think these bombs cost? Bombs are insanely expensive, right? And that's a whole other discussion. The reason bombs are super expensive, let's go over that real quick. Who is this? Donald Plump, okay? The reason, here you go. I knew this question would come up, and it's very pertinent, okay? In 1980, we had 75 national defense contractors, okay? And I'm coming at this because I used to work for a defense contractor. I used to work for General Dynamics, okay, which is one of the largest military contractors in America. And they're kind of an under-the-radar company, right? They own Iron Bathworks, which is the people that make the fucking submarines and the destroyers. They also own Gulfstream, which is which makes the nicest private jet in the world, okay, which is where I worked. Okay, so I kind of know a little bit about these things. We had General Dynamics stock, like this is it's a thing, okay? There were 75 of these contractors in 1980, okay? In 1990, there was 51 of them, okay, right? That's a massive reduction, okay? That's like a third of them gone in 10 years, okay? How many of these fucking contractors do you think there are today? Like, take a wild guess. Do a mental number in your head, okay? Last time, 10 years, you went down a third, right? So how far do you go in 30 years from the 90s to today? Okay, there are 10 of these contractors. Okay, so you want to know why your bombs are so expensive? Because there's only 10 people in the fucking country that make bombs for a part of our budget that represents over $1 trillion a year. Okay, it's bullshit. And I say this as a small business owner, I'm always advocating for more people starting businesses. Start a furniture company, start a paint company, start a restaurant, start a carpet company, start a contracting company, frame houses, build houses, do electrical. The more competition that we get in this country creates more jobs and it reduces prices for everyone. It's a good thing. Except when it comes to the military. There's a massive consolidation. The furniture industry, furniture businesses have been going out of business forever, right? All the furniture companies are in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Hickory, North Carolina, or High Point, North Carolina, okay? That's where all the fucking furniture companies are. Yeah, and you got a couple in Tennessee. But that whole industry has been declining and consolidating for decades at this point, okay? So everybody is... every industry is consolidating to where all you have left are big businesses. And these big businesses are able to crush small businesses because they have access to the third world, right? So they build you up with patriotism and tell you how great America is, and then they take your fucking job and they send it off to another country because they say instead of paid $4,000 for a couch, now you're gonna be able to buy it for $2,000, except that your wage got cut in half. You have no fucking benefits. Your roads have gone to shit because all these big corporations have massive ways to keep from paying taxes, okay? And I'm not saying businesses should pay more taxes. They shouldn't. The problem is that we should scrap the fucking tax code. Like, make a flat tax. Done. You can't get out of it. Make a value-added tax. Done. You can't get out of it, right? But when you allow companies to basically write the tax code, they're the ones that can pay all the money to skirt the tax code, right? So you need more small businesses today. It's super important, all right? So, all right, go to the next one. All right, Rick from Oregon. Oregon, great. Oregon's my firm. I'm from Corvallis. Rick, let me know where you're from. All right, Ethan Allen is making furniture in yes, 100%. And there are plenty of people that make furniture in America, right? Lots of companies. Theodore Alexander makes furniture. Century makes furniture here in America. Just like I said, just go to North Carolina. There's a ton of companies over there that are still making furniture, right? But there's the really well-known companies, the ones you see by the malls, the one you see in the really ritzy areas, okay? They're all making their shit in Vietnam. Every one of them. Restoration Hardware, probably the largest furniture company in America by revenue, not by the pieces that they make, but by revenue, right? Then you got Williams-Sonoma, super high. And these people are going into very high net worth areas for their retail locations. They're not next to Walmart. So these are by the fancy malls, the really expensive enclaves, strip malls. They're not coming to places where you and I live, okay? And these guys, again, are making all their stuff in Vietnam. It's very well known. I've talked about this at length. And I've looked at making furniture overseas and learned how this system works. My furniture is even made in Mexico, not Vietnam or India, which is another great place to make furniture. So it's a real problem, guys. But yes, there are 100%. Bassett is also a massive company that makes furniture, right? And again, I follow a lot of these stocks. If you watch Bassett's furniture, when the Trump administration announced all those tariffs on all these countries, their stock shot up something like 25%. Right? While Restoration Hardware's went down 50%. Okay, so you guys see what's going on here. You can have a really a really well-valued and expensive company on the stock market. But when you see their stock cut in half because of tariffs, you know that almost all that value is not from the design or how efficiently the company is ran, like they got the best people. No, it's because they have access to really cheap shit. And that's really what it boils down to. And it's disgusting. I can't stand it. All right, more Donald Plum. Okay, how much do you think deploying the National Guard Marines against our own people costs? Again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it costs. The cost is not the issue, dude. The issue is way beyond money. Money is not the problem. The printing of money is part of the problem, right? You have to knock that shit off. And the reason is because you and I can't do it, okay? That $37 trillion, you owe that money. I owe that money. You think that some federal contractor owes that money? They don't owe that money. There are people that work for them owe that money, right? When every time the federal government prints money, you think that hurts someone like General Dynamics or Restoration Hardware? It doesn't. They have assets. They have stock. As everything inflates, the value of all their assets increases. The value of their stock increases. The value of the products that they sell increases. You know, and this is the problem with people that don't understand when they just, oh, this costs this, that costs that much. And it's not the cost of shit that's fucking you up, dude. It's the inflation that is fucking you up. It's the inflation of our dollar. It's the wasting of our dollar. How many times have I said that money that is given is never respected? It is never spent well. The only people that will spend money well is the money that is earned. That's it. There's no other money that's spent well. Right? And when you can print money, it's never going to be spent well. That's just how it goes, okay? So I hope that kind of makes sense. All right, libertarians believe in the U.S. Constitution. Explain how Afghanistan is libertarian. Afghanistan isn't libertarian. Afghanistan is a corrupt democracy. Did I say that correct? No, I said, sorry, Afghanistan. You're talking about Afghanistan is authoritarian. Iraq is a corrupt democracy. Afghanistan's fucked, man. It's not libertarian. It's not anything. It's not controlled by a government. It's controlled by basically the Taliban or people that are Taliban adjacent. Right? And again, if you want to know it, it's just get on Grok and Grok it, right? You got to be careful with Google. Google is not exactly the best source of information anymore. Get on Grok. Get on some of these other companies that are going to be a little bit more wide-reaching in their data set for when they process the information. It's very important that we go to these places. You can't just go to the same places for the same information because you're always going to get the same answers, you know? So I hope that answers that question. All right, more Donald Plump. How can another country be libertarian? Why would you want to be libertarian? I don't understand. Like, again, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green Party, whatever all the stuff is, none of that shit matters. What you have to understand is that Libertarian, Republican, Democrat, they're all the same. They're all the same. You know, and again, libertarians will say, well, we're not the same. Well, again, you're not in fucking power, people. Like, nobody takes you seriously, and everyone gets all offended when we say that kind of stuff. But the only thing that matters is power, guys. That's the only thing that matters, you know. And in the end, whether you vote for, you know, oh God, who's that guy? Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, George Bush, it doesn't matter. All of them have projected American power into the world. All of them have dealt with socialist countries, communist countries, authoritarian countries, monarchy countries. Again, because there's no party is different. No one's different. The only thing they're trying to do is continue to spend money. That's all they're trying to do. So basically, as you let them extract your taxes, right, which is your labor, right, you let them extract your taxes and give it to somebody else, that is money that is not earned. It's taken, it's given, it's printed, it's not earned. Therefore, it will never be spent wisely. It will never be respected, okay? And again, I think it was Benjamin Franklin that said, when the taxpayer realizes that they can vote themselves money, it will herald the end of the republic. That's what it boils down to. That is literally what's happening. People are just buying votes left and right, and they're printing money to do it, right? They're telling you that, and we'll get back to the small business thing, when people try and fearmonger you with, well, if you kick out illegal immigrants, if you stop dealing with these communist countries, the cost of goods is going to go up. Like, yeah, it will, right? Be a fucking man. Be an adult, right? The price of your goods are going to go up. There's no doubt about it, right? You don't need 12 stupid bubble bottles, you know, that come from China. You don't need, 100 different pieces of clothing every year, right? And again, it's not my job to tell people what they need, but at some point, you can no longer take care of yourself. You know, and again, this is coming from an idiot. An idiot. I never graduated high school. I didn't do the college thing. All I've done is busted my ass my entire life. And I think at this point, we can all see what's going on here. You have to cut off the federal spending. Plain and simple. That's all you got to do. You take that, you cut it off, all this shit goes away, right? But then you got the bleeding heart people that are going to piss them off. Well, what about Section 8? And what about welfare? And what about Medicaid, Medicare, and retirement, Social Security? They're fucking spending all your money and blowing on whatever they want. You think that shit's going to be for you? You're fucking crazy. You're absolutely crazy, guys. That money's not going to be there for you. It just isn't. And if it is, it's going to be in the form of an IOU because they blew all the money. And oh yeah, guess what? You're not having kids anymore because none of y'all like to screw, right? You basically just like to look at porn and fight amongst each other all the time. So you're not having any kids, right? So again, the Social Security, everyone likes to, most people understand that it's basically a Ponzi scheme. You have to have more people paying into the system to pay for the people that are getting the shit to begin with because everybody's getting older. Like in case you haven't realized this, people lived 20 years longer on average than they used to. They're like, but I was promised. It's like, be an adult. You have to be an adult, guys. At some point, just because you were promised something by a government official who's not accountable to you, doesn't give a fuck about you, and oh yeah, can print money ad nauseum, has no accountability with the money that they spend, okay? You guys keep electing these people, and you keep letting them just spend and spend and spend and spend and buy votes with borrowed money. What do you think is going to happen? Right? They give you lots of cheap shit, right, that they keep buying from other countries because you don't care enough about your own frickin' citizen. You don't care that your own citizen today, most people today are unemployable. You know why there's so many illegal immigrants in America? It's going to blow your guys' mind. It's because fucking Americans don't want to work anymore. How many videos have I done saying that most people are literally unemployable? They're literally unemployable. You try and hire them, and they don't understand that showing up to work is kind of important, right? Their family drama is not important where I work, right? Getting to work on time is kind of a big deal. Not asking for draws on your check every fucking week, kind of a big deal. Not being on your phone, respecting the people around you, not smelling like weed, not looking like an asshole, talking like an asshole. We don't want to do any of that stuff. Right? So, of course, these companies are going to bring in illegal. And guess what? Here's things that piss you guys off the most. Illegal immigrants and first-generation immigrants get paid more than Americans because they show up and work. That's all you got to do. You just got to work. That's it. Like, that's all you got to do is just show up and work. Don't be a douchebag. It's not hard, but you can't do it. You're so fucking entitled. Because again, you get free money, you have all that welfare, you have all the free education. If something doesn't work, well, I just go back to school and take that free money and blow it on drugs and shit that Jordans or something like that. Like you blow it on stuff that doesn't even help you. It's not even important to you. And then when it comes time to pay it back, you're like, well, my degree didn't work out. Oh, college wasn't for me. Please pay for me. Like, what do you guys expect is going to happen? Like, this country is in a lot of trouble, guys. And again, small businesses can help with a lot of this stuff. They really can, because small businesses are accountable every day. They care about every dollar that they spend, right? They care about the people that they hire. They care about the people that they fire. Small businesses buy stuff from America. You know who doesn't buy shit from America? Big business, right? Local businesses, local small businesses buy stuff from other local businesses, okay? Big businesses don't do that. You think all the shit for a fucking Walmart comes from right here in St. Louis? No, it doesn't. It comes from all over the country. They're just buying shit constantly. You know where all the accounting for Walmart's done? It's not done here in St. Louis for the local Walmarts. It's all done in Bentonville, Arkansas. Again, all the furniture for Restoration Hardware. You know where all that shit comes from? It comes from Vietnam. It doesn't even come from the local area that the Restoration Hardware is at, that the Williams-Sonoma is at. You guys are being screwed left and right. They're printing all your money, and they're just blowing it, and they're putting the white guy against the black guy. They're putting the man against the woman. They're putting the have against the have-not, and it's disgusting, guys, and we're just buying into it. It's insane. It is absolutely insane, and when I hear that we're going to go to, there's the potential, I guess, to go to war, again, as someone who honestly wanted to go fight in 2001 and did everything to go over there and kill terrorists, I'm telling you that what we're doing as a country, the last, what would that be, 24 years at this point, was not good. We fucked up big time, and people need to wake up, they need to rise up, and they need to knock this shit off. We got too many things to deal with at home, and it's very easy to say, well, we got to go deal with other things so it doesn't come here. You know, the problems are already here, guys. They want to give you this idea there's a boogeyman out there. You know, we got to defend our allies. We got to defend Israel, which again, I got lots of Jewish customers. I love the Jewish people. I got nothing against them. But again, we're defending this country that doesn't really do much for America, right? We don't have a ton of manufacturing over there or get a ton of research and development done over there. It's not like that. If there were these other countries over there, we're not defending any of those countries either. We went over there to take them over, to turn them into other countries that we could put Starbucks in, you know, that we could put McDonald's in, that we could put Restoration Hardware in. That's what we're trying to do over there. And every single one of them has failed, guys. Every single one of them. Because they don't want what we have. You know, and again, this is one of the failures of capitalism. It's not a failure of capitalism, but it's one of the downfalls of capitalism is that if you don't spread it, it dies. It's like a cancer. It has to constantly feed on itself, right? And again, sorry guys, we're going to kind of a rant here, but if you guys look at the commercial real estate industry, okay, I've got clients that are in the commercial real estate industry, okay, and most of them agree that whatever's going on in commercial real estate right now is a lie, okay? And basically what you have going on is you have very wealthy people in the commercial industry spaces that should be having to sell off their property, right? And when you have to sell that property off, it brings down the price of real estate. And I'm only talking about commercial real estate. But these people have colluded with the banks because the banks don't want to have to sell this property off, right? Because it means they got to take a loss on the loan. They got to sell off the property, which is going to come out a loss. There's a lot of work that goes into selling properties. So they're just negotiating with these people that should technically be out of business, right? That property should get cheaper. Same thing happened to us in 2008 when all the real estate was failing. A ton of these people should have went out of business, but our government and the people in power bought all of these people off. Oh, well, General Motors is a great example. We'll give you guys money. We're going to save General Motors. No, General Motors should have went out of business. They absolutely, AIG, the insurance company, should have went out of business. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all these institutions, gone. But none of them went bankrupt. None of them had to learn the lessons of being, what's the word I'm looking for? Not good stewards of their money, good stewards of their business, good stewards of their dollars. They didn't have to do anything. They all got bailed out because, you know, too big to fail. Remember that kind of stuff? That's just got to change. And what we're doing right now is we're just going to kick the can down the road and do the same exact thing. Okay, and it's got to stop. Like we have so many problems here in America, you know, and this is a very unpopular thing to say, and I'm just going to say it. I've got a fuck around and find out mentality, right? Like we need to make America look like Saudi Arabia. Okay, if you've ever been to Saudi Arabia, it's clean, it's beautiful, lots of technologies, beautiful place. Again, don't agree with the government, but we need to make America what it really needs to be, and it needs to be beautiful. Our roads should be clean, our buildings should be beautiful, our veterans should be taken care of, our poor should be taken care of, we should be getting people mental health, we should be doing all of these things. This idea of fucking homeless people all over the place, again, get rid of those people. Get them into institutions and you make them go to institutions. You get them the fuck out of these places. Because where I used to live in Oregon, where I used to live in Seattle, these places are shitholes, okay? These are places I used to live. And it pisses me off as an American, as a taxpayer, that the place I grew up in is nothing like it used to be. Nothing. It's gotten worse. Everything in America has gotten just a little bit worse. And I think we all kind of feel it, okay? And we're getting ready to keep doing the same thing. Like, oh, let's go, we're going to, go liberate another country. We're going to go do a regime change in another country. And again, you can agree with all this stuff, like fine, okay? But use your head, guys. We've been trying this shit for 23 years at this point, and it doesn't work because these people don't want what we have, okay? What we have is amazing, and it's for America, and it's for people that want to come to America, right? And if these people want to develop nuclear weapons and they want to kill other people, personally, I don't give a shit, right? You want to come over here, you want to try and bomb one of our cities, you want to try and bomb people, great, go for it. Let's see what happens, right? Then you end up with the mentality of what it used to be when I was 20 years old and I wanted to go into the military, right? My mentality was go fucking kill them all. And that's what we need to happen in America. If America leaves our shores and we go to your country, you're done. You're fucking done. We're not going to have it anymore. We're not going to spend our time trying to rebuild your country and promote democracy. We're going to make it so fucking great in America that the only option for the people when they see what it's like in America is for that country to change how it is and to become like America. You have to lead by example. You can't lead by force. You can't lead by occupation. You can't say you're going to spread democracy, just because you want to spend money. You want to give fucking money to NGOs and military contractors, and you want to go waste American men's lives pushing something so you can basically make weapons. Like, it's disgusting, guys. And it really pisses me off as an American, as a small business owner. Like, all I want is for people to have businesses here. That's all I want. You know, if you're into clothes, make clothes. You want to buy clothes from China? Buy clothes from China, whatever. You want to design it here in America, print them here in America with a local printer? Go for it, you know. I don't care what you do, but we got to stop wasting money. We got to stop wasting American lives, and we got to stop basically trying to make everybody like us through force. We need to do it by being the example for everybody, the shining palace on the hill. And if people want to come for us, great, come for us. We'll fucking carpet bomb your country. We'll put you guys off the map. No one will even know you existed. And that's how we leave these other countries alone. Anyway, I'm going around. Okay, sorry guys. Like, so this stuff really bothers me because I just feel like people just want to raise families here. We just want to start small businesses. We want to make normal living. We just want to live very simple, uneventful lives, and that's all we want. We don't want all this bullshit. We don't need it, you know. But it all starts with how much money we spend, because there's no responsibility in spending. There's no responsibility in government, and these people are not accountable to anybody. They're giving you two bad choices. You can vote Republican, you can vote Democrat. Either way, you're voting to spread democracy through force in another country, or blow tons of tax dollars on stuff that nobody actually voted for. You know, so it's wild. So anyway, okay, with a few more comments, and then I gotta get back to. I'm actually at work today, guys. This is Sunday, and I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing trib work all day. Okay, sorry guys, I know I got a lot of comments on this one. This stuff really bothers me, guys, and I just want all you guys to start business. I want all y'all to be able to teach your kids how to do whatever it is that you do, and have generational craftspeople, generational business owners. This idea of just sending your kids off to college and letting some professor guide them into figuring out what they want to do, I think it's the worst mistake we've made in our country's history. It's been a horrible decision. Okay, Donald Plump. All right. Yeah, I do like talk, dude. Like it for real. Okay, again, just do research. It's like I said, go back to like the 70s, and you'll see that military parades weren't uncommon. Like it happened, wasn't a big deal. Because again, that's what they want you guys to focus on. Like, oh, we're focused on this military parade while we go bomb an entire country. You know, for whatever reason, whether it's a targeted strike or it's carpet bomb, doesn't matter. They want you to focus on the wrong things. You know, again, most of the people in America are poor. Okay, you have the chasm between the haves and the have-nots, or the poor and the ultra-rich, is bigger than it's ever been. It's like the fucking Gilded Age, guys. More people need to be in the middle. More people need to have the access to become better than what they started off as. But it's very hard to do when you've convinced everyone that all you got to do is be on welfare, get on drugs. You can be whatever sex you want. You can be whatever form of degeneracy you want and expect that you're going to make it into the middle class, when the truth is that most people aren't going to fucking hire you guys. We're not going to do it. You know, not because we don't want to help you, we don't want to hire you, because we can't send you off to our customers when you smell like weed, you're full of tattoos, you're disheveled, you don't care about your appearance. These are all things that make you hard to employ. Okay, and I know this is very uncomfortable. People don't like to hear this kind of stuff, and this doesn't help me with my business to say this stuff. I only do this kind of conversation on these lives because it's for the live audience. It's not for the customers that buy my furniture or the customers that come into my shop, right? That's not what this is for. This is for people that should start businesses, want to start business, and it's to show them that you can do this stuff. Okay, we got Nub's Revenge in here. This is slavery. I don't know if this is slavery or not, but there's a lot of people in America today that are saying that you can't kick out illegal immigrants because who is going to tend to the crops, right? Which sounds a lot like slavery to me. Who's going to get the children to and from school? Who's going to do the house clean, right? You hear all this stuff, and these people, they tell on themselves when they say this stuff because they don't realize that what they're advocating for is basically slavery. Because what they'll say something like, oh, I pay my people good. I pay these people. Yeah, you're paying people that aren't allowed to be here a good wage. Like, how do you feel about that, right? The first thing these people did was break the law to get here. And again, personally, I don't care. Like, if you want to come here for a better life, you do it illegally. I got a big fucking problem with that. But I will absolutely empathize with anybody that wants a better life for themselves. And I've said it 1,000 times. And again, this gets me in trouble with people, but I would trade 2 freaking American losers for 1 illegal immigrant every fucking day of the week. I will be happy to pay for citizenship for that person to get you worthless fucks out of here. Because I'm tired of people like this. I'm so sick of people that don't give a shit about their lives. Not contributing to society, and again, super unpopular thing to say. Like, nobody thinks of themselves as being a leech or a parasite, but man, we got a lot of people like that, guys. A lot of people, and it makes it really hard to start a business. It makes it really hard to teach people how to start a business or to better their skills because they're hard to be around. And it gets very uncomfortable, guys. Sorry I have to say it, but this is what we're going to do today. We're going hard today. All right, Nub's Revenge, more from him. Okay, it's because nobody has read the Banking Act. It was a cue that money even is. The federal government does not print the money. No, sure, and 100%. No, and again, and I'm not versed on the Federal Reserve. I'm never claiming to be smart. But from what I understand, the Federal Reserve isn't even part of the federal government, which in and of itself is all you need to know. It's not accountable to anybody, right? There was a minute there where Trump was saying that he was going to fire Jerome Powell, and everyone was freaking out. It's like, well, wait a minute. The head of the federal government is, in fact, the executive, the president of the United States, and he can't fire somebody in the that in and of itself bothers me. Just as someone who has a moderate understanding of the Constitution, we basically have 3 separate branches of government, and nowhere in that branch of government is the Fed. Okay, it doesn't exist. You're either part of the judicial, you're part of the congressional, you're part of the fucking government, the executive branch. That's it. There's nobody that's not accountable to those people. And it sounds to me, from my basic understanding, that the Fed is not really accountable to anybody, which is a major problem. And again, when an entity can print money and the government can basically just issue bonds against that money ad nauseum, that's a kind of a problem. The problem is that you got to go back and read about Standard Oil, right? Like, what people don't understand about why we're the reserve currency of the world is basically has everything to do with Standard Oil. Standard Oil set up the Middle East when it comes to oil. They're the people that showed them how to do it, how everything's that made the Middle East probably the wealthiest country per capita that the world or history has ever known. It's wild. But our company, Standard Oil, which was founded in Ohio by John D. Rockefeller, was able to do that. And again, you got to go back and read all this kind of stuff. But it's the printing of money might be the single greatest problem we have here in America. And that's, again, personal opinion. Okay, more stuff. So Nub's Revenge. The federal government borrows these notes with interest against the collateral. Yeah, of course. Yeah, again, you should be able to borrow from the Social Security system. Plain and simple. And everything, you basically got to have a ledger, right? Go back to fucking, accounting 101. You got a debit, you got a credit. And these people have fucked with all of it for so long that no one understands what's what. No one knows what's real. No one knows what the real situation is with anything. And that's how they want it. They want to pit one group of people against the next group of people. Oh, he's going to cut your Social Security. Motherfucker, there is no Social Security. Social Security is gone. It's basically being printed. It's being borrowed against. Money has been taken out of the system for forever. And then when it comes to people living longer, nobody wants to talk about that. You can't get elected if you say to a person that's 70, right? Well, when Social Security was founded, guess what? There was 40 people paid into the system for every one recipient. Now it's essentially flipped. You got way more people taking money than you do paid into the system. And actually, it's not. It's like 3 people paid into every one recipient. But the problem is now everybody's living longer. So again, it's not whether you're pro Social Security or you're against Social Security. The fact is that reality has to set in at some point. Oh, I was promised. I hear that. I was promised all the time. Like, shut the fuck up. I'm tired of everyone saying, I was promised. I paid into the system. I'm owed. You ain't owed jack shit. Nobody is owed anything, and that's the greatest lesson you can learn as a small business owner. You think that I say, I've been in business for 8 years, my sales fell 75% last month. That's not fair. I had my projections for the year. My projections said that I was supposed to make $120,000 a month every month, and this is bullshit. I should be able to go to the federal government and get some compensation. Like, no, that's not reality. No one is owed anything. And again, when you let the federal government promise you things and tell you they're going to give you something, you basically develop dependency. And again, as someone who I haven't saved a ton of money for retirement, I don't expect there to be Social Security. I've been putting all my chips on fucking my business. That's all it is. It's my business. That is my retirement. And if I've done everything right, I've busted my ass long enough, I will be able to take care of myself. I will be able to take care of my kids. I'll be able to take care of my wife. And that's my job. Right? It's not the federal government's job to take care of me, and it's not the federal government's job to take care of you. I'm sorry, it just isn't. All right, more comments. I think simple-minded people are the country's problem. You're one of those people. No, and again, I completely disagree. I think that, again, it's the expert class that has basically sold all you people out. Plain and simple, And again, the expert class is the reason you're able to print money. The expert class is the reason you have inflation right now. The expert class is the reason your country was locked down for years on end and millions of businesses were put out of business. The expert class is the reason that people believe that men and women can be whatever they want, this gender bullshit. The expert class is the reason that colleges are going bankrupt now, that federal dollars are going to be pulled away from the experts because they fucked up. Like big time. And again, there are tons of smart people. There's tons of experts out there. But we put too much faith in these experts when all we really need in life is basic credits and debits. That's it. You don't need some expert telling you that spending, too much money at the end of the year and printing money is a bad idea. But you'll always find a ton of experts that are happy to justify why it's a good idea. That we can grow our way out of debt. You guys hear that one? I've heard that for 20 years. The problem is that the fucking experts magically spend more money. Every time you bring in more tax revenue, have you guys noticed how expenses always go up? Constantly, because they think that tax money is just going to come in every single year, exact same amount. It's never going to change. When the truth is, that's not how it works. It just isn't, and it's a massive problem, guys. And again, dumb guy, never went to college, don't know anything about nothing. Somehow figured out to make a business, small business, basic business, not great. I got to work a ton. It's fine. I stay out of trouble. I'm not a degenerate, and I employ people. I teach people how to do things. I guess it's what we do. It's a good thing. But I'm no expert. I'm not. I don't have a PhD or what's the other one people get? Master's degree. You ever heard a guy with a master's degree talk about business? It's kind of disgusting. They could justify anything as long as there's profit, right? Because that's all they care about is profit. That's why the experts that run a lot of your big, massive corporations, the first thing they do when things get hard is they start laying off all your people, right? And then you notice the stock price goes up because they get more efficient, which means the people that own the stock get larger dividends. Meanwhile, the people that were working there, they're out of a job, So it's not to say that experts aren't good and businesses aren't good. They're 100% good. But we rely a little bit too much on these people, and it's caused a lot of problems. And that's kind of how I see it. Again, you guys have to agree with me. It's like I said, I'm just one person, one guy who's, again, willing to talk about these kind of things out in the open. A lot of people won't do that kind of stuff. They're not. I don't think it's that they're not. They have an opinion. They're just not good at talking, and they don't want to talk about it. It's not that important to them. It's very important to me. Very important. Okay, we got Kareem Cheese in here. That's an interesting name. God loves you, brother. Yeah, Christ is king. Yeah, again, the older I get, the more I realize that whatever religion you're into, the religions kind of have it right. Like, I don't know if they have the whole heaven and hell thing right, but I think that as I get older, we think that we always think that we're the smartest. Like, we have all the best information, the best data sets, the most current information. And it's like, if you go back and you read like the parables of the Bible and the commandments of things like the Bible, like these guys, when you read the stories of like Sodom and Gomorrah and all this kind of stuff, like everything that we're experiencing today has already happened. At the end of the day, it's all happened. It might not be exactly the same way, but if you break it all down to right and wrong, it's all happened before. And again, I'm not a religious person, but it's just the older you get, like the dots start to kind of line up, So I do with that information what you will. All right, more people. So Nub's Revenge, Donald, are you looking for comrades? Again, dude, I don't even know what that means. Donald. Goodness gracious. All right, Kareem, 2038. Yeah, again, this isn't like I said. I voted for Trump. Like I'll tell you guys, I voted for Trump because I just felt that he was a better than the opposition. But at the end of the day, guys, we'd probably be in the same situation that we're in right now. No matter who was elected, you still have the same people in government. The tax benefits coming into businesses, I doubt they would change. Maybe taxes would have went up if Kamala got elected. Maybe taxes will go down if Trump was elected. That's basically as far as I took it. I just want taxes to not go up. That's really all I care about. It's my sole focus. Like, just stop raising taxes, cut off the welfare. That's where I'm at in my life as I get older. Okay, it's really how the whole president position works. It's 2 terms and up to 10 years. Okay, great. Fantastic. That was 90%. If I want to smell like weed, that's what I wrote. No, 100%. Yeah, and I get it, man. And again, personally, I think that anybody should be able to do whatever they want. But again, as I get older, and this is the thing, when you let just anybody do whatever they want, just like with children, when you let them do whatever they want, they make a lot of bad decisions. And the young person and the inexperienced says, yeah, but that's how you learn. And yeah, that's true to an extent. But if you are not employable because you become such a degenerate, again, if you can smoke weed and you can go to work every day, you don't smell like weed, you don't go and smoke weed on your breaks, your car doesn't smell like weed all the time, I got no problems with it. You want to put tattoos all over your body, great. But when you come to work, if you're going to work with customers, if you're going to be a forward-facing person, I can't have that. Which again, maybe you're not going to work for my company. That's fine. We just can't have these kind of things. You have to speak in such a way that you're palatable to people. You can't come in talking like an idiot and acting a fool all the time. You have to be able to read the room. So it's very important that we educate people and we produce citizens that are good for our country and good for society. We can't just let everybody just do whatever they want, because we've done that for 30 years at this point, and everyone's broke. Everyone needs a bailout. Most businesses today in America rely on some form of federal funding. The college situation is a catastrophe. Most of these people want the federal government to pay for their debts, which is, again, people like me who never went to college, who don't have never been on welfare, who don't do Section 8. We don't need Medicaid. We don't need any of that shit, because we've always taken care of ourselves as dummies. We know right from wrong. We have common sense. We need to have that. It's very important. All right, let's see. If you have it all figured out, why can't you paint your walls? I know, and again, that sounds amazing. And again, I don't even have to explain that, because it's called running a small business. And again, there's a lot of people that think that just because you have a company or you make a certain amount of money in revenue, that there's money for everything, there's resources for everything. And this is the problem with a lot of people today. They think that they have all the answers, and they don't. What they have are opinions, just like mine. I just have an opinion. And I like to think that when I keep talking about the business of furniture, the business of painting, the business of dealing with owning a company, that makes me an authority. And again, people can do whatever they want with that information. But when you get people that like to just point out one simple thing, these are the simpletons that this guy was talking about earlier, right? He's literally pointing out that he is a simpleton. And again, nothing wrong with being a simpleton, but you just showed your cards, dude. So, okay, so you got to stop wasting money. Yeah, you said if we're on our parade, doesn't matter. Yeah, again, okay, say whatever you want, dude. Make no sense. That's great. I don't mind not making sense. Okay, so we got more. So, all right, so we're just going to let Donald J. Plump kind of let his comments go. So let's get on to the next person. All right, we've got Stan. Is it Kagel or Kagel in here? If no one knows about Social Security, how do you know about it? What do you if no one knows about Social Security? Did I say something that, I think everyone understands what Social Security is, right? Social Security is very important. It serves a very important function. The problem with Social Security is that when you have less people paying into it than you have people collecting, right, you end up with an imbalance, right? You got your debits and your credits. Right now, if the same people that are collecting it used to collect it for an average of 15 years, and now they're collecting it for an average of 25 years, where does that money come from? And again, this isn't whether you deserve it or you don't deserve it. Point is that people are living longer, right? And at some point, you have to reconcile the fact that every person costs more money. Now, I'm not saying you can collect more Social Security tax, right? I've got no problems with that. Do it. collect more tax. That's cool. But that requires you passing a law, right? You got to actually update how the Social Security mechanism works and collects money, right? Which as business owners, we have to pay into all this stuff. It's called FICA, right? And employees pay into it too. I want to say it's like, I think like 7% or something. I forget exactly what the numbers are, but the employee pays it and the employer pays it. And again, you can put more money into Social Security. Again, whatever the tax system is what I do. Like I've got no problems paying the taxes, playing by the rules, but I will advocate to change the rules and I will advocate to change the taxes because I think that my way is better. Because I will always advocate for people paying their way as opposed to people taking from the productive and giving to the non-productive with no expectation that the non-productive get their shit together. And it's the same thing with Social Security. I've got no problems paying for people that are old, right? No problems with it, right? But the definition of old has changed. Just like the definition of disabled has changed. And what we've done is we've let more people collect Social Security for a longer period of time than they would otherwise normally be able to collect. And we've printed the money to pay for it, right? Or there's been nobody to say, sorry, there's no money for that, right? Or if you want more money, we have to go tax it away from somebody. But you get, no problem, do it, But the definition of old, it used to be 50 years of age was old, okay? I'm here to tell you now, old is 65 at best. Right? So if you want to start collecting at 65, great. Got no problems with that, If you want to live to be 100 though, right? Now we got to start doing that math, okay? It used to be someone was collecting for an average of 15 years. Now someone's collecting for an average of 25 years. Requires more money, guys. So again, no problems with it, right? You can cut benefits, you can raise taxes. Somebody has to make the decision. That's all there is to it. And that's government. It's not me to decide. All I can do is bitch about the fact that it's going to be insolvent, And again, as a taxpayer and someone who understands the insolvency situation, I don't want to pay into it because I don't expect to get it. And I'd be happy to write out a piece of paper that says, hey, I will not collect Social Security, right? But that's not how the system works because it's paid for by people like me who are healthy for people that are old, right? So it just is what it is. Like you can't argue with this, guys. Like it's common sense. Okay, since when is living longer a problem? It's not a problem, right? But money is this thing that is always apparent. You can't get away from it, especially in America. America is a very expensive country to live in, right? And you have to pay your way. And again, we don't want to say this anymore. This is very unpalatable, but I'm not trying to get elected for office. I make furniture. I sell furniture. I work 70, 80 hours a week, right? And I've done it since I was 15 years old. And I'll continue to do it till I die, and I'm completely okay with it. I've got no problems doing that, right? But the problem with getting old is that you got too many people today that are collecting benefits very young in life. And as they get older, they collect more benefits. They're unhealthy, which means now they need Medicaid, right? They need, Medicaid. Make sure I always get Medicaid and Medicare mixed up. They need more money, right? And then as they get older, then they suddenly want to get on Medicaid, they want to get on Social Security, and they just need money forever, right? And again, there's no problems with people that need help through life. We have it throughout history, and you'll always have. You can't get away from it. But we're not expecting people to do more with their lives. In fact, we're encouraging people to do less, and we're incentivizing people to do less, right? The only way that people that don't contribute to society can become, what's the word I'm looking for? Can become more helpful, I guess, to society is to learn from the people that are helpful. That's the only way to do it, right? And for the last 30 years, we've sent people to college, and turns out that the college thing is over, right? We're just handing out money from people that pay taxes to people that may pay taxes. The idea is that these people are going to pay more taxes in the future because they're going to get a great career, when the truth is that we paid for all them, and now it looks like at some point we may end up having to pay for all their loans. So we got big problems there. Social Security, again, it's all just numbers. It's not personal, and you can say, well, people get old and it's not personal. I live on that income and I'm entitled to this, I'm entitled to that. And you guys use this word entitlement like it's something that is American. Entitlements are not American. This is not an American thing. We bust our ass for everything that we get. And when we run out of money, right, we don't get any more. And unfortunately, that's how it works. And it's super popular. I get it. I'm not trying to make friends here. This isn't a let's all, sing Kumbaya and solve everybody's problem. This is one person's opinion about small business. This is a small business situation, and when we talk about small business, Eventually, we're going to get to taxes. We're going to get to entitlements. We're going to get to employees. We're going to get to insurance. We're going to get to all facets of business. It just is what it is, you know? So again, nothing wrong with getting old, but I shouldn't have to pay for you to get old, right? And I'm happy to pay for you to get old for a little while. I'm not going to pay for you to get old forever. I'm not going to pay for you to be unhealthy most of your life and then pay for you when you get old as well. Like at some point, the math doesn't math, you know? And then you always get to be, oh, you don't care about people. Human life's not valuable. It's like, no, motherfucker. It's everybody has to do their part. And we got too many people not doing their part. Plain and simple. So again, super uncomfortable. I'm sorry, guys, but that's what this conversation is. Okay, we got more. So Donald, you lost your respond privileges. Like we're kind of done with you, but I appreciate you adding the discussion in and contributing. I really appreciate it. I hope you hit the like button. Okay, Batchy Crazy in here. Chef, is that Chef? Or are you supposed to say Chief? I don't know what the hell you're saying. But anyway, Batchy, good to see you. So anyway, that's our discussion for today. We got a lot of issues going on. The idea of war is not good. It doesn't help anybody in America. And again, your politicians are basically going to fearmonger you into doing whatever they want you to do. When the truth is that all you really need to be able to do is go to work, start a family, work your way up the economic ladder by getting better at what you do. Employers should pay you more money to do what it is you do. But if you let these corporations and politicians do business with communist countries and dictatorships and authoritarian governments, and then take your job and send it to one of these other places, the only thing left for you is what a lot of people on here have said is welfare. That's all that's left. And you're going to go on disability sooner than you would otherwise. You're going to be on some kind of an antidepressant. You're probably going to go on Social Security super early, and we're going to spend a ton of money keeping you healthy and alive so you can keep getting Social Security payments so that you'll continue to vote for Social Security issues, right? Which is basically going to be paid for by the productive members of society. And it's a damn shame, guys. And I want everybody to have to pay their way. I want everyone to, again, start a business. Deal with the bullshit that all of us have to deal with so that you can understand what it's like to have to deal with employees, deal with taxes, deal with unhappy customers, deal with different states, deal with different regulations, deal with different, OSHA, EPA, NTSB, all these people. Because it helps us to all make a better society, right? When we just give money out to people and we go bomb people willy-nilly, it doesn't really help our country, guys. Like it's just a way to spend money. It's just all they want to do is get your tax dollars, guys. They want your tax dollars so they can buy votes. That's it. That's all they want, you know. So anyway, I'm probably gonna leave this discussion at that. Good conversation. I appreciate it. Even if you don't agree with me, that's cool. I don't mind people disagree with me. In fact, I really appreciate that people have an opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. Y'all are entitled to your opinion. And again, hang out, check these streams out. I try and do one stream a day. I'm pretty good about it. I think I'm doing 5 or 6 a week for the most part. I'm always talking about our furniture. Fridays are what's in the shop. You guys can see what we built, what we're sending out, the pretty painted furniture, the stained furniture, the high gloss furniture, the stuff that we do. And this is a business that anybody can do. If you guys watch these streams, you have access to all the questions. You have access to anything you want. I'm an open book. I talk about the money I make, the salary I take, employee issues, taxes, delivery, making furniture, where we buy stuff, everything. You want to talk about CNCs, programming. That's what it is. And everyone benefits from this information. It's good to hear that you don't have to be a drone and just do the same thing every day your entire life. Unless you want to, and that's fine. There are people like myself that do 100 things a day. And it's a great way to make a living, I think, but it's hard. It's very difficult. So have a great weekend, and be careful with this whole bombing other countries thing. It's very tricky, and hopefully this doesn't lead to anything else. Hopefully it's just, these guys shouldn't have a nuclear weapon, and I think that's pretty noble, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. Hopefully that's all it is, and we're not trying to put Starbucks in the Middle East, because that's what I think it really is, to be quite honest. But I could be wrong, and hopefully I am wrong, and it's just making America a better place, But I don't know. When our government loves to bomb these countries, but also loves to do business with them, which I just really weird situation over there. So anyway, Shane Langston here, talk about quantum physics. I don't know anything about quantum physics, dude. But Shane, I appreciate you coming in. Hit the like button. Discussion's pretty much over for today. But yeah, it's a crazy time, guys. You know, so hang in there, and hopefully things will be on the up and up. So everyone have a great day, and adios.